알아. 근데 나는 과외는 입금을 그래도 해달라고 하면 바로바로 해주는데 우창이도 있고 많아가지고. 너가 언제부터 시작했지? 걔 맨날 늦게 보내.
오늘 올 때 아마 보낼 거야.
근데 맨날 돈이 없는지.
자연이 동물 좀 잘해줘. 끝까지. 우리 기선이 오늘 알아보겠지? 8시 반까지만 되겠는데
야, 오늘 알았어.
나는 4시 그럼
4시. 아니, 애초에 학교가 2시 반 넘어서 끝나. 어제 당연히 2시에 끝나서 그럼.
애들 문도 안 열고 학교 3시에 이한이 오니까 여기서 해야 돼.
어. 응. 구글 해줘. 구글. 구글. 스마트. 내가 올렸어. 나 혼자서도 올려. 엄마처럼 팔. 문제 없어. 빚은 거야.
was honestly blown away by some of the stuff.
I was shocked, but I was not surprised at all. I also felt disgusted having worked for a company like this. I had so many feelings. It was like, I have to comment. It was definitely satisfying to read all the comments. I was like, finally, someone was talking about it. Maybe this will be the time to read all the comments. I was like, finally, someone's talking about it. Maybe this will be the time. People rip the veil of, elitist aesthetics and all of that and expose them for just being a really shitty brand that makes money off of young girls' insecurities.
Social media is what made Brandy Melville. It was social media that provided the opportunity to take down Brandy Melville as well.
Now it's our time to shine.
If you still support Brandy Melville, you absolutely should. Here's why. Seeing racism and sexual exploitation run rampant.
Someone who used to be a store manager there, I got some stories of my own.
I printed out 100 pages of the article, and I went around Soho, painting them up. I had it in a way, I wouldn't do it spotted easily. And some of my friends, they were helping me out. They went and put it in the store, all around the store for me. I talked to my manager, and I was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I just never shut up again.
I sent an email to my hiring manager and said, I'm not going to be working my shift today, and I'm not going to be coming in again, ever. And she was just like, okay. Bye.
There is no reason to believe this would hurt Brandy Melville sales at all.
When Business Insider came out with the story, I was pretty shocked that it didn't get anywhere. I was like, wow, that's weird. Because everybody talks about, the social issue and this and that. They make a big deal out of it politically. But then at the end, when something comes up, people have a short memory, but they just don't care. I was in touch with one of the people that still works there, and they were telling me the numbers, and they are doing amazing.
Brandy Melville got hit, yeah. But for how long? For a day? 2? A week? That's it. They come back to business as usual.
They made a lot of money, right?
Oh, yeah, like hundreds of millions.
There is no reason to believe that Brandy has changed its internal strategy in any way. They did not even publish an apology on social media. Most companies would say, we messed up, we'll do better, we're going to make these changes, this executive is going to be fired. The only thing that happened at Brandy Melville was that they stopped letting people comment on their Instagram for a couple of weeks. I am relatively pessimistic about corporate leadership and how much they really believe in inclusivity. But for a CEO to not even pretend to care was so brazen. By never admitting they did something wrong, they can kind of continue keeping the business model exactly the way it is. Brandy Melville still is able to find people to work at these stores and to appear on their Instagram. Brandy Melville still is able to tap into the worst impulses of being a teenage girl, wanting to be the coolest girl at your school and wanting to do anything to be that girl. We know that Stefan has always said, I don't need to be politically correct. We know that Brandy Melville from the beginning has said, one size fits most, which isn't for everyone. So I'm not apologizing. They're not hypocrites because they are exactly who they say they are. They are just racist, sexist pigs.
I don't think we expect businesses to be good anymore, which I think is seriously problematic. labor issues in the fashion industry, they go hand in hand.
Make no mistake, this is not an industry that has any kind of commitment to ethical commercial practices. Fashion, particularly when it comes to human rights and the environment, is very unregulated.
The footprint of a product, the footprint of the industry is very opaque.
This is an industry that gets to set its own goals, and then if they don't meet those goals, they just change the goalposts. I have a lot of empathy for the end customer who's trying to do the right thing and is thoroughly confused. There's a lot of greenwashing out there. Brands that are essentially co-opting people's interest in sustainability and essentially selling that back to you. And if a company is only talking about environmental goodness and nothing about the faith and the humans behind it, then that is also a form of greenwashing. The poor industry. It's worth $3 trillion. You're telling me an industry that's worth $3 trillion can't find solutions.
We know what we need to do. The solutions that existed a long time ago are the same solutions that exist now. They're just not being scaled.
100 years ago, before the climate change, before the greenwashing, we started to recycle the material here in Prato. 100 years ago, the
Solutions that existed a long time ago are the same solutions that exist now. They're just not being scaled.
100 years ago, before the climate change, before the greenwashing, we started to recycle the material here in Prato. It was a tradition.
Poi ci insegno e si individuano tutti i colori, le qualità degli stracci e poi si mandano alla lavorazione e vengono usati per riprodurre il filo, per rifare i tessuti, per rifare le maglie, per rifare al posto della lana nuova, diciamo.
We are a textile company based in Prato. Myself and my brother are the third generation, and we are continuing what my grandfather started in 1941.
Dove vengono i capi di città? Vengono dall'Europa e dall'America, il 90%. Che loro fanno questi qui, che fanno le raccolte dell'usato.
There is no use of chemicals, only a mechanical process. The durability of our fabric is very important. We are doing the fabrics that they can pass from father to son, but also the recyclability of our fabric is endless.
Il prodotto riciclato è sempre stato considerato un prodotto di qualità scarsa. Con gli anni 2000 invece il riciclato sta perdendo molta forza perché protegge il pianeta.
Manto is one of the perfect models of fabric you could ask me. I mean, from the outside, it may only look like, people just retail the kind of clothing, but it's a whole ecosystem of sustainable practices. The people that work here have to deal with whatever trash, literally, that comes their way. So you have people who are screen printing, you have people who are mending, you have people who are embroidering, you have people who are resizing. So these people are using basics like a sewing machine and then a pair of scissors to recycle 25 million out of the 60 million garment that comes to the market in the money. If you'd ask the people that work in the market about sustainability, they might probably not know, because what they're doing is out of culture, not out of trend. Ghanaians like to wake up the phone. Ghanaians like to give long to everything. scrapping and upcycling. And it's a culture that has existed with us for a very, very long time.
ade pamro mo no ana mo say your force na e ba no so no eduwa na eduwa what dey help ya enye yi ana the family ways dia mi aka sacrifice mi use to imagine say nyenye na we dem go town we dey ball ni by ball na we ni na so.
Sustainability is a language, and fear, people still speak it. It's a way for people to deal with a system that is exploiting them, that has dumped stuff here that they can't get out of. You know, if we want to solve the problem of fast fashion consumption, then we need to listen to the people who still do speak that language and can help us learn.
Well, one of the only tools that activists like us would have in our toolbox used to be that you campaign and you create scandal and then you hope conditions get better. But there's almost become an immunity to this because there are so many scandals in this industry. There's a sense that we can get away with it. And as long as sales are humming and people are buying, it doesn't matter. And, you know, Brandy Melville is another example of just a blip. You have a scandal, and then it's just business as normal.
Brandy Melville has only expanded more their China business in particular. From what I've heard from sources, it basically takes the worst parts of Brandy in America and plays them up. It's even more toxic and more disturbing. The sizes are smaller. There was something that went viral on Chinese social media called the BM Challenge. Can you fit into this tiny Brandy Melville outfit? You have Chinese teenagers who are starving themselves to fit into the clothes. How small can you be? It's replicating the story in the US, just in a different market. And it's created an entire wave of fashion in China. Fast fashion brands convince you to buy from us because they convince you that you are not enough. You can never have enough. You will never be enough. But instead, we could realize, oh wow, this thing called clothing, took it off of humanity, which we made plenty. Now all we need to do is be creative with it. And we can actually enjoy that instead of consuming things for the sake of consuming.
Almost 100 pair of human hands touches the garment before it reaches you. I think about, gosh, if we had a label on our clothes that told that entire story, how you treat your garment workers, how you treat your retail workers, would our relationship with our clothes be fundamentally different?
We are part of the problem. Whether we live in the world, the fact that it's not in your backyard does not mean it's not a problem. Just because you're not seeing, a beach as dirty as the ones we see here in Ghana, does not mean that can affect you. Just because you're not seeing, a beach as dirty as the ones we see here in Ghana, does not mean that can affect you. So, the question is just, where do I find the problem? What can I do? Make it.
Clothing companies so to get away with it and making money, and it's tiny. And I don't understand why, but so many other things are upsetting and don't make sense right now. I don't really know. All I know is that I don't do any kind of work. Stop putting it in my clip. People work so crazy. I always try my best to think about where things came from, where it's going to be landfills, can I do something better, is there an alternative? I only thrift. I mean, there's literally no reason not to thrift. This is not a sprint. This is going to be a lifelong fight. Think of the fashion as a service and a reusable service rather than a disposable product. So let's normalize culture to say, yeah, you saw me yesterday wearing the same thing, and that's just fun.
I mean, the future is not shiny without real change. It's pretty grim. There's a lot of people that think that this is too hard to solve, and it's just not. Wish we could this. But to me, it's the best we can do right now. So we just have to buy less.